So much has been said about Elon Musk's forays into British politics over the last few weeks. He certainly hasn't kept quiet over his dislike of Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, and of course weighing in on Nigel Farage as well and wanting him to be gone and replaced by Rupert Lowe of all people. And there is, of course, the looming threat of him putting hundreds of millions of pounds into British politics to try and foment his very right-wing style of politics. Remember, this is the same man who has said incredibly anti-Semitic things and who backs the AfD over in Germany as well, who are the successors to some of the worst people in German politics of all time. So that's worth thinking about. Now, Reform UK is clearly not as right-wing as Elon Musk is, but they would be very happy to accept his money if he was to give it to them, because, of course, what they care about is political victory rather than integrity. I'll start that one again, sorry. Because what they care about is political victory, not integrity. However, on top of all of this, is Elon Musk's endorsement of Reform UK good for the party? Is it actually going to be increasing their vote share, even with or without the money? Is it actually a bad look? Now, Luke Trill and More in Common, a pollster that I highly recommend, have been doing some polling on Elon Musk and Nigel Farage specifically, and the figures make some interesting reading. So if you look at the overall net favourability of party leaders and comparisons with Elon Musk, the negative approval rating of Elon Musk is the lowest, even lower than Tommy Robinson, Keir Starmer, Nigel Farage and Kemi Badenoch. Although it is funny to see that Tommy Robinson has the same negative approval as Keir Starmer, which shows you how bad Keir must be doing if even Tommy Robinson is as hated as Keir Starmer. But Elon Musk is hated more than everybody. He is the most disliked person out of all of these political leaders. So that's an interesting thing. Is Elon's endorsement of Reform UK doing them more harm than good? I would argue that it probably is. Elon Musk is not well liked in the United Kingdom, as we see from this approval rating here. Even amongst Reform UK voters, he has way lower favourability than Nigel Farage, for example. So he's not going to be taken further by Reform UK supporters on this either. And when you look at people's internal polling over Elon Musk, it's all worse than Farage. All of it's worse than Farage. Over making a good prime minister, understanding the concerns of British people, would be a good advisor to the British government. Even on telling the truth, he is lower than Nigel Farage. So he really is pretty hated by a lot of the British public for a lot of reasons, including thinking that he only cares about himself, with a supermajority of people thinking that's true, and think he's a threat to British democracy, 50-50. So I don't think Reform UK have anything to gain from allying with Elon Musk from an objective perspective, because all he does is bring the party brand down, especially considering the why on earth would anybody who wants to support Reform UK, especially if they want to chase after young men, ally themselves with a fake gamer. Now, the Steve Bannon, for a very, very long time, tried to market towards the Gamergate era manosphere types. And for Elon Musk to try and undo that by, first of all, backing higher immigration with H-1B visas, and on top of that, being exposed as a fake gamer, literally paying people in Asia to play games to make it look like it's him when it's not, deeply, deeply embarrassing. That's not the kind of image you want to project on people who might theoretically vote for Reform UK that they're targeting as a demographic, which is young men. To gauge the public's opinion on Elon Musk, we're going to watch this set of Vox Pops that's been done by a YouTube channel called Peeps. They work with the Islington Tribune and the Camden New Journal to try and get an insight into the kind of figures that we've seen from this overall polling. I will leave a link to the channel and their video in the description down below. Please check them out. They did really great work interviewing people during the election, and I couldn't recommend their work more. But we're going to watch this now and have a bit of a react, okay?
I think he's certainly an interesting character.
I do like him. I respect what he's done.
I think he has political ambitions myself.
Well, I don't follow Twitter, but I've seen him on the news, and I think he's a dangerous man to get involved with our politics.
I think anyone can be dangerous. Anyone with money can be even more dangerous.
I think that's part of his, I don't know, personality. Like, there's a big dick energy. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, a bit controversial. I'm going through like a green card process, so I'm not sure I should say on camera.
Elon Musk is a private individual entitled to his personal opinions. He has a lot of influence, but ultimately he's responsible for his own opinions and his own actions.
Elon Musk has hit headlines this week for saying some pretty controversial things about the UK. He's called on Keir Starmer to resign and even suggested that America come and liberate us from a tyrannical rule. But what does the public think about this foreign billionaire? And do they care about his opinion?
I would say I think our current government would be wise to not go head to head with him so much and antagonize. I think there needs to be a level of diplomacy, and at the moment it strikes me that there's a bit of antagonism between the incoming presidency in what is probably our greatest ally and the greatest superpower in the world, and our current government.
And I just don't understand.
Why don't we just have a backbone and stand up to these people? Also, we need to engage in some diplomacy. How can you be diplomatic with somebody who tweets out the kind of shit that he was tweeting out about Labour ministers, right? This is not a man who has some kind of filter system for the things that he says. He is the richest man in the world with a gigantic ego to match. You cannot talk him down through reason. He's beyond reason. You have to fight him. You have to rebuke him in the strongest possible terms and not play the game that he wants to play, which is to browbeat you into submission.
And why the world is gravitating around his opinions. And I think he's just going to drag a lot of countries to the right side of the world. People should just listen to their own opinions rather than Elon Musk.
Why do you think he's so dangerous?
I think he's too powerful and he doesn't understand how it works in this country. I do think he's just too powerful.
Some people that we've spoken to today have said that Elon Musk is dangerous. Would you agree with that?
He could be. And I think he knows it. I think he's really intriguing. All I'd love to know is in getting his head, are you playing games? Do you have so much money that you can just sit and play with societies, with the state? Is he doing it for personal gain, or isn't he doing it because he genuinely thinks he knows best?
Well, from the scientific studies that have been done about rich people, most people feel that the reason why they're in the position they're in is entirely down to their own actions. Scientific studies have been done on this, that they feel that the reason they are rich is because of the hard work they've put in. It's not through luck, it's not through circumstance. It can't even be a combination. It's all them. It's all they're doing if they're rich and successful. And so, of course, if you are the richest and most successful person, if you are, of course, engaging in the weirdo narrative in which you can correlate wealth with success, I wouldn't personally do that. Plenty of other ways of being successful without stealing a bunch of people's surplus value, might I add. But even so, if you take that narrative to heart, you must feel like you know better than everybody else. If you're richer than everybody else, then you've contributed more. You've done better. You are the best. You have won at capitalism. Therefore, you must know better than everybody else. So regardless of whether or not he does believe that or is trying to do things that's specifically in his interests, through lobbying, for example, trying to get his own personal wealth increase through government policy, the fact that he can do that, that's already the problem. Right? That woman was bang on the money when she said, well, he's got enough money. The rich people are dangerous if they have all of the money, which is true. They have an inordinate amount of power to influence society, which they shouldn't have. It screws up democracy. It screws up politics. To bend it to the wills of people who have all of the financial power, that they can therefore gain democratic power as well. And that's why we should tax their wealth.
I think he's an idiot. God, I don't know what to say.
I don't think that just because someone's got loads of money, they should have loads of power.
But I guess, is there anything we can do to prevent that?
Well, I don't want to bring up like...
Has he mentioned a video game character, chat? Has he? Although you can just tax those people. You don't have to go to such extreme measures. You can just tax people their wealth away. Or, on top of that, you can engage in policy making that prevents the rich from influencing politics. Put a cap on overall donations, for example. Plenty of measures that you can take to protect your democracy for the rich, even if other countries allow them to be rich. Put limits on political donations. Ban their apps. If they are using an entire gigantic social media app as a single-man propaganda machine for his politics, ban it in your country. Either have it be a pluralistic platform, where people are getting a full range of views, rather than it being used as a propaganda outlet for his personal views. Just ban that sick filth. Brazil have done it, we can do it too.
I don't know. I'm not advocating anyone... Obviously. Well, I guess I'll be going to prison soon. No.
You mean leaving X?
Yeah.
I really want to leave any social media. It's hard to get rid of it.
I'm not a big fan of our current Prime Minister, and
Are we not? Are we not a fan of the current Prime Minister? I wonder why. Not for the good reasons, of course. I'm not a fan of the Prime Minister for lots of good reasons, but I'm not sure Mr. Posho here agrees with me.
You're a fan of democracy.
I have defended democracy in Afghanistan. I served for 12 years.
What do you think those threats to free speech are that he's fighting against specifically?
To use common jargon, I'd say cancel culture. And I think that's...
Yeah, because cancel culture is when you get your account taken down on the Bird app because you violated terms of service. Have you seen the article in the Financial Times where a bunch of bankers were saying it's like we're back in the world we should be living in, where I can use the R slur without being cancelled, when really this was all that was being going on in the background, and the rich people were sad that they had to act with some level of decorum?
I think there needs to be an open and honest debate, and there needs to be room at the table for everybody of every opinion to come and have their say. And whether we like it or whether we're offended by it is almost irrelevant to it.
Okay, mate, how about you go on Twitter right now and try and tweet out the word cisgender? Okay, do you want to have a look at Elon Musk's belief in free speech, free expression, and a pluralist public realm? Go try and tweet out cisgender, please.
There needs to be room at the table for everybody to voice their opinion.
I think it's all about money. I think whatever he's doing is based on trying to make some more money. Somehow. I don't know how. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Probably doesn't need any more money.
Yeah, but people with money want more and more.
I mean, I think it's good entertainment value. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but I mean, some of the stuff I just take it with a pinch of salt.
Do you think people who disagree with him should be leaving, or do you think they should stay and have those arguments in public?
Good question. I think he needs to be confronted with his, with sort of his own contradictions, and the only thing he pays attention to is Twitter. So, got to do it there then.
Like, I've been moved on this. Like, I was previously of the you should all quit Twitter side of this discussion, and I can understand those arguments, but somebody on TikTok made this point to me earlier as well, that otherwise it's just going to turn into a single, like, gigantic echo chamber, and people aren't going to get turned immediately into Elon Musk style fascists if they have at least some people offering a contrary narrative. Whereas if Twitter is just serving people up Nazi bullshit over and over and over again because that's what Elon has trained the algorithm to do, and there's no pushback, then that's a problem. So I do think that there's some reason to stick around.
He's very right-wing, and we're not used to that in this country.
Fake news or misinformation might be pretty dangerous. The opposite would be to, voice your opinion on the platform, right, rather than leave the platform, have that debate kind of live there.
Me, simple philosophy, like, spread love, be nice to people. Hopefully things work out. I know people need to be, aggressive and get shit done and call people out, but I know people are just entitled to do what they want.
But do you think he should be held to a higher standard, considering he's got hundreds of millions of followers on Twitter and a huge amount of money?
Oh, interesting. Should individuals...
That's a really good question.
should people be held to higher standards?
Because of how much they earn. That's a really
and
interesting...
if they've got more power.
Well, that's a very... it's very easy to judge people, isn't it? And especially...
Yes. I judge rich people every single day, and you should too. I have huge amounts of judgment for rich people. I know what they're like. I see what they do. Again, I've read all of the studies that show how they're just bad people. Yes, we should hold these people to a higher standard because they have more power. If they do bad things with that power, that has further consequences than it would be for a random person on the street.
If one's looking on, it's very easy to judge.
I think someone who's in power and has the money and is in such a public domain is a lot easier to judge, and therefore I think publicly we will say he should be more accountable. Whether from a morality point of view that's fair is a different point. I think he almost has to be more accountable because he has a public platform. Whether that's fair or not on him is a different matter.
And query, how would you hold him to account? Would you boycott his businesses, or...
I mean, I guess that's what a lot of people...
Gulag. Do not pass go. Straight to Gulag. That's how we'll hold them accountable. Gulag or work camp. The Tesco Gulag. Off you go. Go and do some real work, Elon, rather than living off of share dividends.
People are doing right, they're leaving X.
Yeah, but they're still buying Teslas.
I have a Tesla, like I said, which is an amazing piece of technology, and I think a lot of the other stuff he's doing in SpaceX, X is a bit crazy, I guess, but AI and crypto is pretty interesting. So
I think it will.
I mean, you can buy a Tesla. I wouldn't. But again, like, Tesla is made by Tesla workers, Tesla designers, Tesla engineers, right? This is a company that Elon Musk bought out. He isn't in any way responsible for the work that the workers do. He's just a fucking parasite scraping money off of the top, living off of other people's surplus value and pumped Tesla shares, right? I wouldn't want to contribute to that share price rising any higher personally, but if you think that buying a Tesla is what's important to you, then, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, right?
Be dangerous if we restrict his behavior, because I mean, like, everyone have a speech freedom.
Is it kind of inevitable that someone just becomes super rich that's going to happen, or what do you think?
I don't know.
Yes, it is quite literally inevitable that if you let people become this rich, this will happen. This is what happened in the robber baron era. This is how they set up think tanks. This has always been the case, and they lobby governments. Rich people always distort democracy in this fashion. This is not something that is new to Elon Musk. He just happens to be bad at it, so you notice.
Didn't happen to Batman, I guess, but I don't know any other billionaires, to be honest. So I don't know. I mean, Donald Trump's obviously a nutcase as well, but yeah, I just don't know that. You only really hear about like the bad examples, I guess.
He can't be a president of the United States because wasn't born there.
Oh, he could be prime minister of UK though, can't he?
Fingers crossed he doesn't end up becoming into number 10. That would be bad. That would be a bad thing. But broadly, I think from the Vox Pops that we've just watched and from the polling that we saw, people don't like Elon Musk in this country. And the criticisms they have are salient ones that I've been talking about for quite a while now. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for memberships. It's just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.